What's up, y'all? It's your girl Pretty Diamond. We're back with another video.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way,
Oh, y'all. Your girl has been going through the motions, okay? I have definitely been going through the motions. Have not been eating healthy the way I'm supposed to because me, when I'm going through something, y'all, I binge eat, meaning I eat, can't sleep, eat. Like, that's me. And life has been life, and my grandmother just went through a traumatic experience. I've been out from work on FMLA, dealing with that and trying to help her get through. So it's been real tough for me. My grandmother is my support system. My mom, she calls and she checks in and makes sure that I'm okay. But my grandmother raised me, so it's tough. It's a tough situation. Thank God that He allowed her to be here still and see more of life. So I'm 1000% grateful for that. And if I ever had a doubt that God wasn't real, honey, can't nobody ever in their life tell me. Because when I tell you, I've been sleeping at the hospital since February 12th, and I've been on my knees praying and laying hands and praying. And listen, I think I got some type of anointing in me, honey, because the way God pulled my grandmother through off of life support, miracle. It has really been a real journey for me. A lot of crying, a lot of stressing, like a lot of me just saying, I'm putting it all in God's hands, okay? I'm putting it all in His hands because He seen me this far, He gonna see me through some out, right? So today we are going to be talking about childhood trauma, because I assure you, I've been through childhood trauma. A lot of stuff that I went through and I went back, it's just like, how isn't like, why my parent never got in trouble? Like, how are they not in jail? Like, are you kidding me? So I need some wine for this. I had to pour me a glass of wine for this. I definitely need some wine for this. Yeah, let's unpackage this. We're gonna get right into it, okay? So I know a lot of us millennials, we have a lot of childhood trauma. We have experienced things that, it's crazy. It's crazy. I got some stories, but I'm not gonna go into, exactly that, but I have experienced childhood trauma. And I think the first step is realizing that, hey, I think a lot of things that has happened in my life was due to my childhood trauma. But we're not going to sit here and just blame everything on the childhood trauma. But what we are going to do, we're going to unpackage it, Let's unpack these things, okay? I want to talk about how to deal with your childhood trauma, okay? You could drink some wine. That helps. Drinking wine. Yeah, definitely goes together. Dealing with your childhood trauma, the first thing you need to know is that it's not your fault. What you went through as a child is not your fault. You couldn't have made anything, happen that happened to you as a child. You were a child. You had someone guiding you. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And once you realize that it's not your fault, then you can move on to the next step. A lot of us think like, oh, I'm the reason why my parents got a divorce, or I'm the reason why my parents beat me or abused me, or I'm the reason why I was locked into that closet, or it's not your fault. No, you couldn't have done anything to make your parents do that to you. You couldn't have done anything to make your parents get a divorce. You couldn't have done anything to make someone, harm themselves, or, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You were a child, okay? So number one, when dealing with childhood trauma, you need to know that it's not your fault. It is not your fault. It had nothing to do with you. Number 2, you have to understand that your childhood trauma is exactly what it is. You have to understand that your childhood trauma is exactly what it is, and you can't get rid of it. It's a part of you. Do you want it to be a part of you? No, I don't want mine to be a part of me, but it's a part of me. That's just, what I experienced as a child and what I remember from my childhood. You have to accept that it is a part of you, okay? We all have different journeys and walk through different paths of life, differently. My childhood trauma may not compare to your childhood trauma. You may have experienced something way worse than what I experienced. I may have experienced something way worse than what you have experienced. All I know is childhood trauma affects you in your adulthood. So you have to learn how to unpack it. And that's what we're going to learn today. So again, number 1, it is not your fault. Number 2, you have to understand that your childhood trauma is exactly what it is, your childhood trauma, okay? All right. Number 3, you have to understand that it is possible to cope with this. You can cope with it, okay? And you can do it in a healthy way, okay? You can stop it from interfering with your life, right? So coping with your childhood trauma is a plus, but you have to get there. And we're going to talk about how you get there in just a moment, okay? So know that you have to cope when dealing with childhood trauma. Know that you have to cope with it, all right? Cope with your childhood trauma in a healthy way, all right? Number 4, write things down. I remember one night I was crying so bad, and I had my little crying spells, and this night was one of those nights, and I had to open up my notes because I use my notes in my iPhone to kind of express how I'm feeling or what's on my mind, or if I'm thinking about something that happened to me a long time ago and I feel like it's affecting something that's happening right now, it's triggering something that's happening right now, I usually take notes and write it down. So it is extremely important that you write down your feelings. Write down that childhood trauma. Write it down. Express how it made you feel. Express how angry you were about it. Write it down. Even if you don't want to, have a journal, put it in your phone. Open your notes. Type it. Type exactly what you're feeling. Get it through. Let that child, the inner child in you, come out and express the anger that you were feeling at that moment that you didn't know how to express when you were a child. Let it out. Okay? Bring it on out of there. Okay? And that's going to help you with this next step, which is step number 5, seeking therapy. All right. So I know a lot of people talk about the therapy and going to therapy, and I have a therapist. And some people just say it just to be saying it. And some people, really sincere about it, yeah, okay, I have a therapist. Yeah, but you need one, for your childhood trauma. Make sure that you pick the right therapist, because you have good therapists and you have bad therapists, okay? So the good therapist really is going to dig deep, and pull out that childhood trauma that is affecting you today. And maybe affecting your relationships as well that you have with other people, not just romantic relationships, friendships as well. So you want it to be able to pull out of you, okay? You want that therapist to be able to pull that childhood trauma out of you. And with step number 4, you already write down your childhood trauma. You are already ready. You are ready to, take the load off and, hey, here, therapist, this is what I have been feeling. This is what's triggering me. This is what's bothering me. And this is, I just need to figure out why and how can I, cope with this in a healthy way. All right. So this was a real quick video on how to deal with childhood trauma. I hope this helps. I know what it's like. I struggle with it on a daily basis. Know you're not alone. Go seek therapy and it'll get better. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all my subscribers. Do not forget to like, share, and follow on other platforms, okay? And if there's other video topics that you want to talk about, that you want me to have conversations about, let me know. I got y'all. Leave a comment. All right, I'm out. Thank you guys. Love you guys so much. Bye.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way,